I swear Mattel's hiding these figures, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. Probably heard AJ Styles in there somewhere. Anyways, we got Ultimate Edition Penta, man. No update on this figure. We saw this back on March 19th. March 19th was almost 3 months ago, and we have zero updates on this. We haven't seen a post about it. We haven't seen a reveal about it. Now, today is Thursday afternoon at the time I'm recording this, so tomorrow's Friday, and usually they drop new pre-orders, they drop new galleries, so some things in this video may change in less than 24 hours. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll have an update. And if there is an update, of course, we'll share about it. But we don't have any updates on this Ultimate Edition Penta. Now, we are all believing that this is going to be based on WrestleMania 41. This is going to be Penta's WrestleMania debut from the Intercontinental Championship matchup. And this would make for a pretty cool figure. I'm also going to say, I think it's going to have the ball joint torso like we saw in X-Pac, like we saw in Sheamus, like we saw in Goldberg that's coming out, which is the new implemented ball joint torso, as we know. We saw it implemented on the women's figures, and they've slowly moved it into the men's, man. I'm afraid this may end up being the universal deal going forward, man. We may live in a world soon where we have just ball jointed torsos. I mean, is that not gonna? Would that be incredible, or would that be insane? Would anybody be on board with that? And the only struggle with that I feel is, what if we get the ball joint torsos and we don't like them, and now it's too late, and all Ultimates have them, and who knows what's next, you know? So I think that would be crazy if, they implemented something, and I think it should be experimental, if that makes sense, before we jump off the cliff with it. But I don't know how toy companies work and all that works, so I don't know. Regardless, I know the women's figures are really good, and I like the ab crunch on those, so hopefully the men's will carry over. But this Penta figure, we haven't had any updates, man. WWE World, they didn't do renders. We didn't get. I fully expected to see this Penta Ultimate on display, and we didn't see it, so I think that's crazy. But the next figure that I want to talk about is New Jack. This figure, we did get updates on it, but it hasn't been up for pre-order, which I find to be very strange. Is that not very weird? And again, tomorrow's Friday. Sometimes they put up pre-orders on Fridays. They drop a new gallery. There's lots of new stuff. It wouldn't shock me if tomorrow we get a brand new gallery, New Jack goes up for pre-order, we get new images. That's completely possible. So we'll have to see. But again, with no renders or anything, it's kind of tough to kind of judge on what's coming down the line, what we expect at Comic-Con in a month and a half or whatever it is. I think it's just 5 or 6 weeks now from Comic-Con, so that'll be an interesting deal as well. But New Jack not being up for pre-order, I think, is kind of crazy. I know that figure is going to instantly sell out. It's going to be gone in a matter of seconds, so make sure you're following me on Instagram and stuff, because when Ringside posts up new pre-orders, I do post it up, and you guys can go get in on that. Use code MD Toys, of course. But New Jack has not been updated in terms of pre-order is really what I'm talking about. But another one that's interesting is the CM Punk Larry figure. Now, the Larry CM Punk Ultimate Edition, we saw this almost a whole year ago at Comic-Con. And I imagine this will be on display at Comic-Con, but we've had zero updates in a year's time. We just saw the gray render, and that was it. No updates, no colored render, we don't know what figure this is going to come with. Now, we did learn that in Ultimate Edition Series 33, CM Punk was the final figure in this set. So this is going to be that Liv Morgan set. I think it also comes with Sheamus. I think that's the full set. Sheamus, Liv Morgan, CM Punk. Liv Morgan based on WrestleMania 41. I think Sheamus is based on a Raw random return. And so this figure with CM Punk is not going to include Larry. I think this is based on SummerSlam 2025. It's the Fantastic Four gear, apparently. So is Larry going to be a part of a Mattel Creations exclusive Punk that we just don't know about at all? I think that is going to be the case, but it's not 100% confirmed. That's just me using context clues and experience in this arena for a while, so that's just something to note. But yeah, we have no updates on the Larry Punk or the CM Punk Ultimate Edition that will come with that Larry figure. I just think that one's kind of absurd too. Zero updates on that. I can't believe it, man. Them not doing renders at WWE World, that grind my gears, man. But let's move on to this next one. We have Liv Morgan, and I'm not referring to the Ultimate Edition that we saw on display at WWE World, the prototype that we got to see, which seems to be like it's going to be a cool figure. It does have butterfly joints, but you know what? We'll accept what we can get, I guess. But the Liv Morgan I'm talking about is the grayed out renders that we saw also about a year ago at Comic-Con. So I guess what we can expect as far as Comic-Con goes, if we get grayed out renders at Comic-Con, that means they're in the earliest stage ever, and we won't see them on display until a year later at Comic-Con. I guess that's just what we need to know going forward. Now, I know you could say that about a lot of things, but it just seems like in the past, and I've been in this arena a whole long time, I feel like when they usually show us grayed out renders, it doesn't take a year to see an update. It just doesn't make sense. It's usually grayed out render, color render, or prototype on display, and that will be how it goes. I just don't really feel like it's usually a year before something like that takes place. But this Liv Morgan figure should be a cool elite. I don't know if it's going to be mainline. I don't know. I just hope that it's a good figure because Liv Morgan, she has like decent figures. They're not the greatest figures of all time. They're not the worst figures. She does have some chipmunk head sculpts and some crazy things that have happened. But as far as her figures, the head sculpts are usually pretty good. So I'm looking forward to this, and hopefully the figure will come out nice and everything will be toyetic and good and it'll look like the character. I feel like that's where Liv Morgan mostly struggles on her figures, and we know there's characters in the past that they just can't seem to get right on the head sculpts. You know, Liv Morgan has gone through this, Becky Lynch has gone through this, Bret Hart has gone through this. We have seen this, you know, come about in a myriad of ways in different superstars. So I don't know. Maybe Liv Morgan's figure will be great when we get it in hand and, you know, get an update on that figure, of course. But the next one I want to talk about is Defining Moments Cactus Jack. Now, I don't really know what update there is to be had, but this figure's interesting because we had zero clues about this one. So it's kind of the opposite of the Penta or the renders of such, because usually we have some sort of render or something to look at to know that we were going to be getting this Cactus Jack. And then all of a sudden, bam, there it is. Just a full prototype that looks like it's pretty much ready. And they drop it out of nowhere, which is always crazy. So some things are inconsistent as far as, you know, they got to keep you guessing. They got to keep you on your toes, I guess. They certainly keep me on my toes because I'm, you know, constantly analyzing these things, providing the news and stuff for you guys. So, you know, I had no idea about this figure, and I low-key, you know, I enjoy a leak or two sometimes. You know, I like to dabble in the leaks and talk about them and get hype for them, but at the same time, I like when we're completely caught off guard by things at the same time. And while I love, again, being in the loop or knowing these things coming down the line, I also will love getting surprised. But this wasn't a great surprise. You know what I mean? This isn't up my alley. I know a lot of people may want this figure, and I completely understand that. I'm just not the customer for this figure. That's just how it is, man. Not every figure they make is going to be for me. I'm not dumb to know that that's not how the business works. I understand that, you know, they try to capture every bit of their audience. They're trying to get every nick and cranny of their audience. They're trying to capture a customer at every level, and so it makes sense. You know, this just isn't my figure. I don't know. I'm just not that excited for it. I know maybe, you know, Bill is a big Cactus Jack fan in Mankind, so I'm sure he just wanted to, you know, get as many Mankind, Mick Foley characters in there. It does seem like we've gotten an uptick in his kind of figures. Ultimate Edition Cactus, we got the Elite Mankind, we had the Ultimate Mankind not too long ago. So it, you know, we've had a pretty good amount of Mick Foley figures increase in the population. So. And then the last two here, these are two that we don't really have an update on, and, you know, I think we'll get one of these. I don't think we'll get the other, and that is going to be JC Matteo and Xavier Woods. Let's start off with JC Matteo. I think this figure is going to come out. I think we will see this figure, and I hope we do get this figure, so at least we'll have an elite of JC Matteo before he leaves the company if you guys want to add that to your roster or whatever. So that would be a nice figure to have. I would like to have that figure. It also looks like the character to me, so I'd be all aboard having that character in the line. Any new character in the line is always a great thing for me. But as far as Elite 128 Xavier Woods, I don't think this figure is coming out. I think it was revealed that, you know, I think Randy Orton replaced him in Elite Series 128. At least I do believe that's what the case was when they revealed, or I think there was some listings and leaked kind of stuff that we've talked about over the last month or two where Randy Orton had replaced Xavier Woods. And if that is the case of Randy Orton replacing Xavier Woods, well, I guess, you know, that stinks. That hat was crazy. Maybe they can, I don't know how they'll do it. I don't know what kind of loops and tricks and backflips they'll have to turn in order to get that giant hat in. And if it doesn't come with Xavier, wouldn't it have to come with Penta? So how the hell are they going to give us a Penta and then put that hat in there? The whole budget of the wave would be gone, I imagine. So I don't know how that unfolds. I don't know what all goes into that and how you manage a budget of a figure line and stuff. That's not what I get paid to do. However, you know, maybe we'll get that hat in the line somewhere else, but it looked very high quality. Crazy looking hat, crazy accessory. I mean, one of the more crazy, memorable accessories that we've seen in a minute, I feel like. So that's pretty cool, man. But Those are all the figures that are kind of missing. These WWE figures are missing. We don't have any updates on them. We don't know what they're doing. Are they still coming? There's been 0 updates whatsoever, so we don't really know what to unfold here, man. But I want to know down below if you guys are excited for any of these releases. What do you know about these releases? If you know anything, maybe you have info that I don't have, because as far as I'm concerned, we have 0 updates. We don't know what's coming here out of these figures, and I would like to know what you guys think of all these. Are they pickups? Out of all of these, I'm excited for Ultimate Penta. I'm excited for New Jack. I'm excited to see what the Liv Morgan looks like. The rest, I'm like, I'm wait and see, I guess. Defining Moments Cactus Jack, not that hype for it. Xavier Woods would have been cool, but we're not getting it, so there's that. And then you do have JC Matteo, which is solid. And then you do have the Larry CM Punk. I'm interested to know where that Larry's going to land, where there's ringside exclusive, Mattel Creations exclusive. What gear of Punk is it going to be? That's what I'm interested in. Maybe it'll be WrestleMania 41. Maybe they'll do the gray hoodie and give Larry to him and stuff like that. I guess that's completely plausible. But we won't know until they give us an update. But hopefully tomorrow we'll get a new gallery or something, man. I don't know. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. But I appreciate you. I'm getting out. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.